What's going on, everyone? Around 57% of stocks in the S&P 500 closed in the red today, and even with that being said, SPY still made a brand new all-time high today, but it was only by about 4 cents, so it was nothing too crazy. But we did have a handful of big moves today, not only just in terms of stocks, but also commodities and even Bitcoin. So we have a lot to talk about today. We have a pretty big week set ahead of us, especially in terms of earnings this week with the powerhouse Nvidia set to report. But we have a brand new week ahead of us, so let's make it a great one, Tom.
Yeah, the market was pretty good this morning. We saw a good push back towards that all-time high, and it was pretty cool to see like a double top-up around there. Like you said, it did make a new all-time high technically by around 4 cents there intraday, but on a trading standpoint, we're just going to call that like a hit, right? So I'm really watching that as resistance right now. Like 531.50 is going to be a major level to watch over the next couple days. If the market does double top here a bit, that could be rough, obviously, but the market's been pretty resilient lately. So I'm going to keep watching these highs and watching these tech stocks. Whenever I go to the heat map, Mike, there was a lot of negativity today. Whether you look at the banks, you look at Amazon, like the retailers like Home Depot and Walmart, you go down, you look at Tesla, the oil stocks were red, but those big tech stocks had pretty good days today. A lot of them might not have been up a ton, but, Microsoft 1.2%, Nvidia 2.4%, Apple's in the green, Google barely as well. Meta was like the outlier that was red, but it was pretty good to see those tech stocks going green and the S&P make that new high. So, hey, let's go. New all-time highs are here. I think for tomorrow, we'll still see a lot of good opportunities, especially with these Bitcoin stocks. Mike, Bitcoin went nuts today, up 4.84%. And we switched over to Coinbase, Mara, Riot. They were doing even better. Coinbase was up 8.47%, and Mara really killed it, up 14%. So we saw a lot of great movement out of these stocks, and I was loving the intraday price action there.
Yeah, no doubt, and keep an extra close eye on these crypto-related stocks throughout the rest of this week. Like you said, Bitcoin is making a move higher, and for a second there, it was actually above the $70,000 mark yet again, but it's just like straddling that area right now. But what we're seeing as a whole is not just Bitcoin rise, but many other things in general, whether it is the S&P 500, or its gold prices, or silver prices, or even copper prices. There's just a lot of commodities and just things on the rise right now. So I think that's very interesting. And, obviously the cryptos have, tend to move in more of a volatile way, but keep an extra close eye on these commodities in the short term because they're definitely moving.
Yeah, they really are, and I really like some of these stocks that we've been looking at over the past couple weeks, Mike, like NEM, which continued to do well today, GDX, GLD, like a lot of these gold-related plays, even silver. I could not believe it when I go to the silver daily chart, Mike, and I just continue to see these huge intraday like moves on these candles. It's blowing my mind because I'm so used to SLV, just like slowly but surely chopping around with like a lot of slow movement, not really any volatility. I'm definitely not used to these big candles like we've been seeing, but I'll tell you, I'll take it, especially considering all those good big money plays that have been coming out lately. But yeah, let's go. It's been an awesome past couple weeks, and I'm still loving this price action. For tomorrow, I'm going to keep looking at these stocks for more momentum. I know eventually it will start to subdue a little bit and start to slow down, but for now, the train is there, and the momentum's definitely to be had. So I'll keep watching gold. Even GLD is well, today I guess it did break out, but like let's say tomorrow it re-breaks like 226. That could be another good runner tomorrow.
There we go. But another stock that just blasted higher today was HIMS, HIMS. This stock ran up by 28%. And basically, I'm sure you heard of this company by now, Hims and Hers. They're going pretty crazy. And they popped up today so much because they basically said that they're going to start offering some weight loss drugs. And more specifically, they're offering GLP-1 injections. And obviously, as we know, just by, I guess you could say, the weight loss boom over the past couple of years, news like this can be very advantageous for Hims, and the stock market clearly thought so as well. But either way, keep a close eye on Hims, not only for tomorrow because of all of this giant short-term momentum, but this stock has been running in a pretty serious way ever since May of 2022 when it bottomed around $3.50, and now it was pushing $20 today.
It really was. Like, that's an insane run. So from that low to where it was now, the percentage at the high of day today was up around like 630%, 629%, right around there. That is a pretty big jump. I will definitely keep my eyes on Hims, Mike. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this, but I think a lot of these weight loss drugs are pretty funny here. You know, we always talk about this, Mike, where these sectors and companies go through these times where if you mention something or you get into a certain idea, it'll really boost your business in the short term. We see it happen with AI, right? Any company with an earnings report, they mention AI or something, they end up doing well. It's kind of funny now. Some of these healthcare stocks, they're all coming out with their own weight loss drugs. And I don't know, Mike, I think it's kind of funny. Everyone's trying to, get the upper hand on this market. But either way, though, HIMS's stock is nuts, like 28% today. I'll definitely be looking for that $20 breakout tomorrow. That is a huge overhead resistance and good psychological level even.
I like this stock for the long term. For the short term, it does have opportunity, but you do have to be a little bit careful with its options because they are not the most liquid. So just be careful on the fills with them if you do trade it. But either way, keep this one close on watch for tomorrow. But Tom, we also have a pretty loaded economic schedule for tomorrow as we have a whole bunch of Fed speakers lined up.
Yeah, we really do. In the morning, we have Barkin and Waller at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:05, Williams, 9:10, Bostic, 11:45, Barr. Once we get into the nighttime, Bostic speaks again at 7, Collins at 7, and Mester at 7 as well. So we do have quite the lineup with Fed speakers tomorrow, to say the least. For the rest of the week, there are a few more things like FOMC minutes on Wednesday, initial jobless claims Thursday, and a couple others that we'll talk about later in the week. But these Fed speakers, you never know, Mike. They might say something about rate cuts. There was some talk today with some of the Fed speakers, and I think it influenced the market a little bit intraday. Not anything too crazy, though, but definitely watch out for some pretty crazy statements there.
Alrighty. And then another thing that we can't forget about is the earnings lineup for the week. Of course, we have NVIDIA set to report after the bell on Wednesday, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But what else is on the schedule?
Yeah, NVIDIA there. Tomorrow morning, we have Lowe's and AutoZone. Those are two pretty big stocks. One of the interesting ones tomorrow morning for me is going to be XPEV, ticker symbol XPEV. It's a Chinese EV company, so definitely have your eyes on that one. But that's pretty much it, Mike. Really, besides NVIDIA, Snowflake, Target, there's not really too much for the rest of the week here.
All right, nice and easy. And then Zoom did report after the bell today, and they've kind of been all over the place. So what is the story with this one?
Yeah, it's actually not the best earnings report. Now, it's not the worst, though, so that's why I think they're just kind of sitting stagnant right around that $64 area, pretty close to like the midpoint where they were today, but it's definitely not good. Their guidance is really the bad thing that I saw with their earnings so far, Mike. I saw that they actually beat on EPS expectations, pretty much came in right at expectations for sales. But the big thing that I saw was really their outlook here. Their outlook on EPS was just a little bit under estimates. Same thing with the revenue. So I'm definitely a little bit worried about that, Mike. Hopefully that's not the case as we go forward. There was also a situation where their enterprise customers came in quite a bit under the Bloomberg estimate of 223,000. It came in at 191,000, which I thought was a pretty big miss. So overall, not the best report for Zoom. And I think Zoom investors were really looking for a nice, wowing report here, and they did not get it. I will say this, though, at least the price is sticking around 64 for now.
Yeah, so Zoom is really just more flat than anything else in multiple different time frames. Whether you're looking at it in terms of just today with their earnings, or even when you zoom out, it's just been very flat for the past couple of years. And they are, they're making money and they're doing good. It's just they have lost all of their hype. So as soon as they can get just a little bit of hype back, the stock does have a lot of potential. But that's what it's like really waiting for. But at the same time, again, they're definitely not doing bad. They're just really missing the hype that they used to have back in 2020 and 2021. And, we'll find out if they can ever get it back again.
Yeah, hopefully they can, and with a company like Zoom, we might see something weird, like maybe somebody buys them out. Maybe they come out with some new type of technology for video conferencing or something, right? I don't know, Mike. Maybe something with the VR headsets could be pretty cool coming out. I don't know, but Zoom definitely needs to get something going. I'll send the CEO an email, Mike, and tell them they need to get something going here.
Oh boy. All right, Tom, well, let's jump right into some setups and predictions for tomorrow. A stock I'm continuing to watch is KTOS. We've been talking about this one so much over the past couple weeks, or you guys might be getting sick of me talking about it. So basically, we've been continuously talking about this one in a bullish way. It is finally towards this resistance area right around $21, and you could say 50 cents or so, and it is breaking through that right now. The more pressure it puts on these recent highs and the better it holds up, the better the setup will continue to develop. So basically, the price action has been phenomenal over the past couple weeks, and I'm just looking for a continuation of this. KTOS is one of those stocks that moves in a way that is a little bit slower than maybe something like Nvidia or Mura or Coinbase, but the price action does tend to be pretty consistent, and there's a big money play associated with this move as well, which is always great to see. So either way, KTOS is still on my bullish radar, you can say.
Oh my gosh, Mike, that big money play is insane, and I can't believe that it just went right through this resistance like it was nothing. I mean, we'll have to see tomorrow morning if it continues to hold through here, but based just looking at the way it started bouncing at the end of the day, I would say it's holding up above that in an extremely good way here. So I'll definitely keep my eyes on KTOS at open tomorrow. It definitely has not failed over the past couple weeks, that's for sure. With my next play, or first play actually, I'm looking at Tesla. Once again, this was a big play yesterday. I talked about that big 180 resistance on the book map, and even with the SPY making new highs, Tesla could not get going today. I know that they've been kind of going against the SPY lately. They do have a moderate correlation, but it's really not that good over the past year, especially compared to others like Microsoft and etc. But they had a pretty bad down day today. I'll be looking for them to break under 173.50 for tomorrow. I think that's going to be a big area of support. And whenever we go to Bookmap and we go over to Tesla, the big area is right around 180 like we talked about. And you can see underneath where some of these supports are. Like I really like this 173.50, 173 area in the short term. And then 170 might be a pretty good target to the downside if we continue down, but that 180 resistance is huge. I'm going to keep that on my radar all week long. If Tesla keeps rejecting here, I will keep watching it to the downside, but I'm really liking that 180 level, Mike. Like you almost can't get better as far as a short-term level on Tesla.
Sounds good. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is JP Morgan, and it is to the downside. So JP Morgan had their investors day today, and the stock did not like that at all, as it fell by around 4.5%, which is clearly a lot larger than its average drop of 0.67%. So clearly this move was definitely a big one, but either way, the stock has been uptrending in a phenomenal way for over the past, you could say 6 to 7 months now, and it's starting to pull back a decent amount. We have not seen this level of selling pressure with JP Morgan in some time, so I would not be surprised to see a little bit of a continuation here. Either way, I'm watching JP Morgan to the downside throughout the rest of this week. I would love to see a break below that like $195 support, and then a continuation down to like 193 or maybe even 192, depending on how strong the selling pressure is.
Yeah, and who knows, this selling pressure could probably get pretty strong, right? Like whenever Jamie Dimon announces that retirement is closer than ever, that's never a good sign, especially whenever you have just such a good, influential CEO like that. Pretty rough. I'll say this though, what's up with this guy retiring so early, right? Like, where's the Warren Buffett mindset? This guy's only 68 years old. Come on, Diamond. No, but Diamond always has something to say, it seems like, about most of the big events out there and rate cuts and stuff. So that is very interesting, Mike. And of course, the buybacks are probably the bigger news in reality. But I'll definitely be watching this one below 195. It's a pretty fun one in the short term here. I think it'll be pretty interesting. With my next play, I'm looking at CCJ for a continuation up. They are on fire right now at new all-time highs. I will be looking for a break above the high of day right around 54.55 for tomorrow. If we break there, I will look at bullish opportunities to the upside. Whenever we go out to the daily, I mean, it doesn't get much better than CCJ over the past year.
Yeah, it has been very resilient, and it's definitely moving in a very strong way. So great stuff there, Tom. And let's jump right into the momentum plays for today. With the first one, we have PENN to the upside.
Yeah, Penn Gaming, we talked about this one yesterday with the big money plays for tomorrow. Go ahead and make it break above 1640, which is like the high in after hours here.
Sounds good. With the next one, we have NEM also to the upside.
Yeah, the gold stock's been doing very well. Come on, Newmont. Go ahead and make them break above 44.64 for tomorrow.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Meta for both directions.
META, actually a pretty rough day for them, down in the red. Pretty surprising, but go ahead and make them break under 468. That's going to be a good support. For resistance, go ahead and watch 473.30 for a breakout to the upside.
Perfect. So we have the upside level for calls, and we have the downside level for puts for Meta. Don't forget about the levels with NEM and PENN as well. These three stocks are on watch for potential day trades tomorrow if and only if they break through the levels Tom listed. The more consistent and the more powerful the price action is, the better the setups become. If they do not break the levels Tom listed, then do not feel the need to force these setups. It's better to take, I guess you could say, no trade rather than a bad trade, and it's better to take, one or two high quality setups rather than 10 mediocre setups. So definitely keep that in mind, not only for tomorrow, but just trading in general. But either way, Tom, it is now about that time for today's $2.56 million big money trade of the day. And it is with ticker symbol JD. So looking at JD today, it fell a little bit, and the big money put around $2.56 million into the 32 strike calls that expire on June 21st of 2024. These call options are already in the money. Chinese stocks like JD have been powering higher over the past couple months, and this option only has around a month of time to it. So it's definitely a bold move here. Because of the expiration date, it's not like my personal favorite big money play ever, just because the short-term expiration makes it a little bit more risky. But of course, what comes with increased risk is increased reward, as the options can move in a more volatile way. Either way, the big money is continuously bullish on China, and I don't necessarily blame them in terms of short-term movement. And looking at the setup, JD has been very consistent, and is for as long as this, I guess you could say, short-term price action and just bullishness in this area of the market keeps up, a play like this one has potential to do pretty well. But very interesting trade.
Yeah, it really is. And I would say the JD in the short term does seem pretty high, but there's been a lot of stocks lately that are continuing up very, very well. Whenever I look at JD, there's a pretty big resistance overhead, like around this $40 to $42 mark. And, whenever you go back in history, whether you look at JD or any of these stocks, whenever they go on these big swings back, sometimes they are pretty major and they last for quite a long time. Like, look at this swing it went on in 2022, right? It actually swung from $36 all the way up to $67 within just a couple months. So I'll definitely be looking for more movement here in the short term, Mike. It can happen. I know a lot of people right now are probably a little freaked out saying it's too overextended, and I would say I agree, to an extent, but whenever you zoom out, it starts to look a lot better. So I really like this play, Mike, but at the end of the day, like you said, it is a shorter term expiration. So I know it's a fairly heavy big money play, right? 2.5 million. I'm not sure I would go too heavy on it though here. Obviously, they might be having a different strategy.
Yep, and then it really wouldn't be all that surprising if we did see a dip too. Looking at JD, like you said, it has had a pretty crazy uptrend in the short term, and it just, fluctuations are just a normal part of trading and the stock market in general. So either way, keep a close eye on this one in the short term. There have been a lot of big money bullish China plays recently, but as we look across the market right now, overall, things are pretty good. We have the market right at all-time highs. Like I said, it did technically make a new all-time high today. We have Bitcoin moving in a big way, commodities and Bitcoin also continuing to trend higher, and things have been good. But just because, I guess you could say, commodities in the market and certain areas of the market are uptrending, that doesn't necessarily mean it's nice and easy to make money, because how you trade is more important than what you trade. So going into tomorrow and any other trading day, let's continue to practice smart trading habits. Have stop losses and respect them. Understand where your risk is at before you enter the trade. Always make sure you're not fighting against the market, but rather, I guess you could say, using the flows to your advantage. things like that and many other good trading habits are what ultimately make the difference between those who succeed and those who fail. So another thing is avoid gambling on earnings, because it's very tempting, especially in weeks like this with NVIDIA set to report. But Tom, before we move on to the next segment in the video, let's give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Crazy Money, in the StockedUp Discord, who had a great trade with some Coinbase call options today. Look at this profit screenshot. So awesome job, Crazy Money. You've been in the Discord for a little bit over like a month and a half now or so. So you've been a great member. So keep up all the great work, and hopefully we see many more screenshots like this one in the future. If you guys are new to the channel, consider demolishing that subscribe button to get our videos recommended to you more often. In every single video, we cover the most important news for the stock market, charts you won't find anywhere else, and just important things to keep in mind as we navigate this ever-changing stock market. So when you subscribe, you'll get our videos recommended to you more often. But besides that, Tom, do you have any other final thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, for tomorrow, guys, it's going to be a crazy one. I really like a lot of the ways these tech stocks closed up today, like Nvidia. I thought that this was a really good close. I'm definitely going to keep watching these for more breakouts in the short term. I am a believer that we are overextended, but in the short term, anything can happen, and these runs have continued in the past for quite a while. I would not be surprised if they kept going in the short term here. So there's been a lot of fun, Mike, whether you're looking at a lot of the chip stocks that do well, or the China stocks, or etc. There's been a lot of fun opportunities the past couple weeks. Hopefully it keeps up, and keep an eye on that all-time high tomorrow with SPY. If the tech stocks open up good, we might actually see a pretty clear break, not just a 4-cent break, right?
There we go. But yeah, guys, we're just starting off the week, so let's make it a great one. Let's practice smart, long-term, sustainable trading habits. And besides that, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's crush it this week.